Thought I'd do a product review for these shoes. These are the Nike Free 5.0 running shoe. Um, my sister-in-law has been running with me quite a bit lately. I'm a barefoot runner, and she likes to wear shoes, but she hadn't had new shoes in years, maybe 5 years, 6 years, and her shoes were pretty poor. So I decided to go out and buy her for her birthday a pair of good running shoes. And I looked around for something that simulated a kind of a minimalist approach. And I found several different types of shoes, but I was really impressed with these Nike Frees and the way that the sole had this built-in flexion all the way through it. Where the rubber is cut in a grid so that the shoe has a lot of flexibility, and there's arch support, but not too much. It's not overkill, and it's a very light shoe. So I bought her a pair, and while I was buying her a pair, I kind of got jealous and thought maybe I should try out a pair too, because there are some places that don't really accommodate barefoot running that I'd like to add into my training, like going up and down some of the coulee trails and that kind of thing, where there's cacti and gravel and such, is pretty much a no-go with bare feet. So I decided, well, I'll try a pair of these and see how they do. And it's not the first barefoot style shoe that I've tried. I wear the Feiyu shoes quite a bit, the kind of the Chinese martial arts shoe that has it's almost like a Chuck's style high top. But it has no arch support and a very thin sole, so that it acts like it responds like bare feet. I've worn those, but they're only so for running. So I thought I'd try these. I tried them this morning. I ran a half marathon distance in the coulees and on the river bottom. So I did 22 kilometers as a test out. I ran with my bare feet in there. I didn't wear socks, and surprisingly, it didn't tear my feet apart entirely. I got one little blister on my instep here, and on the backs of my pinky toes, on both sides. I'd rather get blister on the back of my toes than on the bottom, because that will hinder me from running with my bare feet, whereas on the backs, I can be okay. Just next time I want to wear the shoes, then I'll strap some moleskin on if it hasn't already healed itself up. But it's to be expected with a brand new pair of shoes. My feet aren't used to it, so there is some time of building up the right calluses to fit the shoe, and so I totally expected my feet to get torn up. In fact, worse than they did, considering the distance that I ran for the first time wearing the shoes. I was fairly happy with the shoe. I mean, in terms of running, it's nice and light. I wouldn't want to run with too much weight on my feet. I did notice right away that it was giving my calves a different kind of workout than I normally get. I don't know, you change anything up, I think, when you're running. Like the first time I barefoot ran, it was the same way. My calves just burned. And that's how it was for maybe the first 2.5, 3 kilometers of my run this morning. Was my calves were really feeling it. But eventually that went away, and I don't know why it went away, but it did. I did notice that I was using a lot more of the heel-toe movement, which is part of what I don't want to do, because that's what puts the pressure on the knees and that kind of thing. But the trade-off is I get to run in places that I wouldn't get to run in bare feet, and this protects the bottom of my feet. I went over some pretty rough places and didn't feel a thing in terms of pain from rocks or anything like that. So it worked out for what I want to use it for, and as far as my first impressions of it anyway, I think it's a pretty good shoe, and I would endorse it or recommend it. But keep in mind that was only um, my first go at it with the shoe, and I'm going to keep track actually of how long these shoes last me. If I just only use them for running occasions, what is the distance I'll run before I'll wear these guys out? Because one of the things when I look at the shoe, to me, it looks almost flimsy. It's so light that it's almost flimsy. I mean, the tongue has this kind of like foam stuff on the back, and it's just connected in a kind of a light way to this mesh material, and the mesh material is very thin, and I mean all around it's made to be very lightweight, and my question is whether or not I'll just tear it apart in less than a year of running. I wouldn't doubt it, but I guess that's what you pay if you want to have that minimalist experience and be wearing some protection on your feet at the same time. There are some, there's a lot now. The minimalist thing is for running is getting kind of big, and so there's a lot of different styles to choose from. I haven't touched any of those other styles other than the Feiyu, so I don't have a lot of experiences to compare it to. All I can compare it to is the actual barefoot running, and it's definitely not a barefoot run, but it's also not the same kind of run that you would get with a shoe that's made as a standard running shoe. This is a little bit different, a little bit lighter. You get a lot more of the feel of your feet involved in it, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the purchase. The purchase cost me $120 for the pair, and hopefully they'll last maybe a year. We'll see. And either way, see how many kilometers I get out of them. But $120 is maybe what you'd pay to enter one race, and so you should at least be willing to pay that much for a pair of shoes that you're going to be able to use multiple times, maybe a year or more. So yeah, I'm happy with them, and just wanted to share the product and my thoughts about it. This is again the Nike Free 5.0 for those who are thinking about or already do barefoot running, minimalist running, and are looking for a shoe to wear for certain environments. This is one I've tried, and to me, I think it's pretty good.